you guys were talking about team championship, team spirit, dynamics, more contact. It's interesting because actually in the last press, Samoro mentioned something about lack of contact in between the drivers themselves. And he was actually mentioning the fact that, for example, when we had the presses, there were these kind of, not conflicts, but the fact that people would kind of, in the presses, for example, there they would be, it's not like creating toxical environments or whatsoever, but there would be this
bickering each other,
fights
right?
in between, yeah, exactly. And someone was mentioning that sometimes that also misses this year. The fact that we don't have presses, people cannot talk the same way. So that's why we feel that it's becoming more and more and more individualistic, as you were saying before. So my question for you guys is, do you think that even that is missing and conditioning or even influencing the dynamics this year as well? So would you say that we need to bring the presses back? Because officially speaking, presses will be back. We don't know yet the frequency. We don't know yet how much. But in your opinion, how much does or do actually the presses a difference for the grid for the championship? In your opinion, I'll start with Tico if that's okay.
They are absolutely missing. And I think I speak for myself, but I was a really big participant and sometimes host of the some of these press conference. So I really miss that thing, that rhythm of doing a press conference, questions, having the hot questions and the reactions of the drivers. It was really something I was expecting in the week or after a race. I know that we did so many, and it was like maybe the number was a little bit too much for someone, for some of the drivers in the grid. And I understand that someone or some people may say that maybe one every week after the race is too much, or one before and after is a little bit too much. But I think that we could sometimes do again the press conference in that format with some of the winners or some of the losers or whatever who wants to participate. And because this was really something that I was hoping to get in the week, even participating or hosting, it was something that I really anticipated in the week because I really like it. So yes, absolutely, you can bring in them back.
I'll have that in consideration, and yet I need to see what I'm going to do in terms of calendar. But before that, João, what do you think about this?
Well, I agree, and I think that maybe once a month at least would be nice.
So wait, so we're talking about 6 to 7 presses until the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea. I think
Actually, 5.
Agree.
Yeah, in
no,
between 5 to 6, because when you do the math, we are in July, so until the end
Yeah.
of the year would be at least 5. But I was just thinking, like, okay, if we can, for example, besides the season analysis, the other presses, which is
or
usually
you
we.
can do, or you can do like every like. Let's imagine this is a
Tweets.
triple header weekend. You do a press. There's a single race weekend. You do a press between
Hmm,
like. You understand this?
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's my idea.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you want to do one per with, let's say you have 22 races. So
One
if
per
you do
month.
one, you have 22 races. If you do one before and one after, that's 44 presses. You can do 22 presses and do like one after each race.
I, I gotta see. I gotta see because honestly speaking, alone, I think this is not feasible. With
Yeah.
with someone else, maybe for example Tiago, or I don't know, at least with one person. How can I say one person extra? I think it would be more feasible. So, but yeah, I agree. I also think that presses are important and they would kind of
Or
give
at
another
least, or at
dynamic.
least, but at least see where they are like the sprints and do the same rhythm, like a press conference every week that has a sprint, for example.
Assuming that we have three more sprints, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's
I
it.
think so.
Yeah, we have one right now in I was gonna say Stallone. It's Silverstone. Sorry.
It's also.
So basically, you were saying two presses for the next upcoming sprints, and then the other 5 to 6 presses. Okay, that I think it's more feasible, and I think it would be interesting. So that's something that I will definitely see, and yeah, I'll definitely sing alongside with GTR if that's okay, and if you have availability, we'll study that together. Um, so guys, I have other questions that I would like to ask you
Can I
guys.
just can I just ask you to do them to me first so I can go in and I'll stay and listen?
Ah, yeah. Tell me how much time do you have? Because like that,
Not a
is
lot.
then I'll go straight for you, João.
I'll be standing here listening, but I after I answer I cannot have my camera on, but I'll be here and I'll
Okay,
talk to you and say goodbye. It's okay.
okay. So I think I just have two more questions. One of them is about the number of forms. You already mentioned a bit that before. I already talked with Samaru and Jimmy Lika as well about this. Do you guys feel that, for example, the fact that you have a sprint forms, a pole forms, and a Sunday race forms, is it too much for you guys, or do you think that it's pretty much just a matter of organization? Because we're talking about things that are quite different, sorry. And for example, the pole position is just one question. But I hear people sometimes complaining that, yeah, but it's still one more form. So, how do you guys feel about the management of the different forms? Do you guys feel that it would be easier having less? Do you guys think that having more is actually kind of part of the job? Because if you want to have more prizes, it's worth it, it's part of it. So, how do you guys feel about all this?
So I believe that I would when you have like just a Sunday race, no sprints. I would and you have epic races. It's not the sprint; it's the epic races, right?
Within the Sunday race, or sorry, it's pretty
When you
much
have
the
two
same
different
forms.
no, when you have two different forms on the Sunday race.
You have Sunday and the Cup because Epic Races
Yeah,
is within the.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I got confused a bit here. Sorry. When you have those, I think you can combine them in the same form. But when you have pole position, sprint, and race, I think that's more manageable because you are watching the sprint and you remember, oh, I have a form for the sprint. So I think that's you have to have three forms for that. For the pole position, I think it's just one question. It doesn't hurt nobody. If anybody's complaining about having a pole position forms, they're just being lazy. And it's my opinion.
How do thank you. How do you feel about this? Do you share the same opinion, Tiago?
Yeah, yes, I think that you don't have an excess of too much forms to fill. I mean, you have the forms to the main competition you have to fill if you want to win that. You have the spring competition. It's a format we are used to that because we have been doing sprint forms as well before. And the only other forms is the population. But like John said, is one question. If you don't want to do that, you are lazy.
Eh,
Because
it,
or if you don't do it, it's because you forgot,
You
like me.
you already know me. I'm not here for sweet talks. I say things as they are. So
Yeah, but it's the truth. It's the truth because if you want to gain the most amount of points or prizes in the end, you have to do it. So and I think that everyone that is in the competition is here for win the most and the amount of points prizes. So I
so
think I
so
mean
so this is just a suggestion, and I think it may be the our last question or topic, subject, whatever, to be talking today. But I remember Samoru in the last press. So we were talking and realizing that the most TNFs we have been seeing this season is pretty much on the pole. Because sometimes the pole form, sorry. Because sometimes we see, for example, in 14 drivers, since there were 12 plus 2 of the sim. in 14 drivers, we would have, for example, more than 50% in DNFs. And it's interesting because I was talking about that with Samoto and Jimiliki, and Samoto was saying something like, what if you would increase, for example, the number of questions in the pole position form? So, for example, just to motivate people to play a bit more, because sometimes people think, okay, it's just 1 point, it won't make a difference. But we all know that it does. Looking at 2024, there was a point of difference between P1 and P2. So Samoto came and told me something like, would you do, for example, pole position yet or still, but you would kind of add 3 or 4 more questions regarding, for example, Q3, Q2, and then the pole position. Do you guys think that this is the right solution, or pole position forms would be just pole position and that's it? Maybe I'll start with the João again because he's in a rush.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer this, and then I have to go. I think that that could be a possibility, but then again, I don't think then having three, for example, for a sprint race, it would be a lot of forms and a lot of stuff, and I think I don't know. I think you have to try it just to see how it tastes. But I think it would be a nice idea to see like P1 in Q1, P1 in Q2, and P1 in Q3. You can do that. I think that's my opinion. I will have to mute now.
Thank you very much. We'll see you,
I'm
João.
staying. I'm staying. I'm staying
Okay.
here though.
All
I'm
right.
listening.
Thank you.
I'm
Um,
listening. Yeah.
okay. So moving to Tiago, let me just tell you this, Tiago, because Samoto also in his suggestion he was saying something like, okay, first question would be pole position as usual.
Mhm.
Then in the second question, for example, he was saying between both, for example, Bottas and Paris, who is the one who is going to pass through Q2 or Q3? Sorry, and other related questions like this. Do you feel that is something to, as Juan was saying, taste or to try, or do you think that it is just too much and maybe the way is pretty much just staying the same thing because pole position was created to be easier and in that way to simplify
I think
the work to people?
I always thought that that forms of the pole position form like a bonus point, basically, because if you are like a um, very attentive and very concentrated about F1 and you see everything, I think that it's more of most of the times that it's a little bit easier to it's a ease to know who going to be the pole position in that race, even if we had some surprises along the year
Hmm.
until now. So, but I think that in most of the times it's a little bit easy to know. I think that it would be interesting to make some questions like more in the format of like who do you think that will not go out of P3, Q1 or Q2 or Q3
Hmm.
like that, or what group of drivers, uh, what drivers do you think that will not go beyond the Q2, for example, or what drivers do you think that will be in Q1, something like that. I
and,
think,
and
or something in the terms of who do you think that will do the sector two faster, but it's that a little bit more complicated to do
and in
to
order in
test.
order to not make it like a really another full forms
Yeah,
with a lot of questions, how much
yeah,
would
yeah,
you
yeah.
would you do then?
I think that 3 questions maybe is the ideal format. One for